Hello there, Uplifting Uber update. Just wanted to share, this is kind of a sensitive topic, but I wanted to share this story. This actually started last year, and so I met a young lady while I was Ubering last year in the summertime. And so this is kind of a sensitive topic. So again, I'm going to keep things, confidential and whatever, but I just wanted to be able to share this so that I could have more folks rejoicing with me. So last year, I meet this young lady. It was really definitely a divine appointment because she was actually outside of her normal schedule. She had a doctor's appointment and was in like a different area at a different time. And then the ride that I had just before was actually canceled. The ride request was actually canceled, which led me, I was right there to get her request right after. And so we had a good conversation, and of course we talked about God, and so we had good conversation. And so whenever I was dropping her off at work, I asked her what she wanted me to pray for her in my prayer time. And there was a bit of a hesitation, and, I could tell that she was tearing up. And she mentioned that she found out that she was pregnant and that she just wasn't quite sure what she was going to do. And, she mentioned, obviously I'm not married, I don't believe she was with the guy either, if I'm not mistaken. So we talked about that, and I got to speak on God's behalf, very gentle, and got to just mention some things like, that's actually a soul. It's already a soul that God has knitted in her womb, and that God He already has plans for that soul, and that soul is meant to impact all the other lives, all the other souls around that soul. And so, I did the whole, fast forward 20 years from now, what might that soul be contributing to the world? What about 40 years from now? That God already knew that it was going to happen, and He has plans for that soul. So we had that conversation, and talked about some other things, some resources and support system, like that kind of stuff. And so I give her my card, and I say, hey, let's stay in touch. Keep me posted. If there's anything I can do, please let me know. Let's talk again. And so I gave her my card, and she was like, can I hug you? I said, I was just going to ask you that. And so we hop out of the car. We're in the middle of downtown. Like, people probably thought we were insane. So we hop out. We're both crying. We hug each other. Love you, love you. Okay, now I've known that girl at that time for, probably 15 minutes, if that. And so we exchanged, and she texted me, so I had her her cell and whatever. So a couple days later, I reach out, just checking in, didn't hear from her. A couple weeks later, reached out again, didn't hear from her. So this was going on, and I would just say, hey, I'm thinking about you, praying for you. I love you regardless of what you do. God loves you regardless of what you do. You're loved anyway. Of course, we know that doesn't just, we're not to just do whatever we want to do, but I mean, he does love every soul regardless. And then it obviously, like I said, this was last year. So, after a while, I just kind of assumed that she, probably had an abortion and, probably didn't really want to talk with me or anything. And I let it go. And I had just been praying for her anyway, just no matter what. And so, on Facebook, how, like, if you have contacts in your phone, like phone numbers and email, I think it picks up on that stuff. Convenient, but creepy. And so one of hey, here's a suggestion, somebody you might know, right? And in the friend request, in the friend suggestions, and I see her name, and so I go in and I start looking through her page, and I see the 1 month baby pictures. And so I was so tickled, I was so relieved, and just I was just tickled. And so I wanted to share. I mean, this is and I'm not saying, oh, because of me that, but I know that God is the perfect pursuer, and he will use anyone and anything to be a part of carrying out his will and speaking his truth. And so I'm sure that there were multiple people that he used, messages, voices, whatever, and I'm just honored that I got to be one of them. And so just the fact that I was able to speak on God's behalf to somebody I would have never had the opportunity to, I would have never been talking to her. If I weren't Ubering, I would have never been in a position like that. I would have never had that opportunity. So anyway, I just wanted to ask that y'all join me in praying for her and baby, and just for that journey, and that she continue to fall in love with God, and that she assists him in transforming her life. And same for baby when the time comes, as he gets older and starts making some of his own decisions. And so I just wanted to share that. And thank you all for your encouragement, your support, your prayers, and just remember that the soul is the goal.